Thank you for joining us in week 5 of the 40-day prayer journey. This week we'll be thinking about and meditating on where Jesus said, "Lead us not into temptation," applying God's word to our hearts in this area.
Matthew 6:13 says, "And lead us not into temptation." One version says it this way, "Don't let us yield to temptation." And another, "Keep us from being tested." Later this week, Brian is going to share the difference between temptation and testing. The message says, "Keep us safe from ourselves."
The source of temptation is never God.
James 1:13 says, "When tempted, no one should say, 'God is tempting me.' For God cannot be tempted by evil, nor does he tempt anyone. But each person is tempted when they are dragged away by their own evil desires and enticed. Then, after sin has conceived, it gives birth to sin, and sin, when it's full grown, gives birth to death. Do not be deceived, brothers and sisters."
So the source of temptation is not God, but our evil desires. Now we need to understand that not all desires are evil, but how we seek to fulfill our desires and our motives for seeking them is where we run into problems. So let's talk a little bit about the escape from temptation.
1 Corinthians 10:13 says, "No temptation has overtaken you except what is common to mankind. And God is faithful. He will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear. But when you are tempted, he will also provide a way out so that you can endure it."
Carolyn's going to read a verse that talks about this limit or this way out, this escape hatch, if you would.
Matthew 26:41. "Watch and pray that you may not enter into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak."
The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. We see that Jesus' secret to avoiding falling into temptation was two parts. One, watch. Always look to see, where is Satan working? How is he causing others to prepare a trap for me? Watch. Look out. Keep an eye open. And pray. We have to understand that we don't have the strength in our own flesh. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. And so we need to pray and ask God for the power of his spirit to overcome our temptations and to be aware of those places where we're vulnerable.
1 John 2:15 through 17. "Do not love the world or the things in the world. If anyone loves the world, the love of the Father is not in him. For all that is in the world, the desires of the flesh and the desires of the eyes and pride in possessions, is not from the Father, but is from the world. And the world is passing away along with its desires, but whoever does the will of God abides forever."
We see these same three areas of temptation in Genesis chapter 3 with Adam and Eve, and then again in Luke chapter 4 when Satan is tempting Jesus in the wilderness. And I'll be sharing more about this passage from 1 John chapter 2 in the devotion this morning. And this week I want to encourage you, as you spend time with the Lord, ask the Spirit of Jesus to show you any area of your life where you have desires that are not pleasing to him or that don't come from him. Psalm 37:4 says, "Delight yourself in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart." That's not saying that if you are good enough that God will give you all the stuff that you really want in life. What it's saying is that when we spend time with the Lord and we allow him to fill our hearts with his love, then the desires that we have will be pure because they will come from him. God bless you.